So, ladies and gentlemen, we're starting to get more information over the next couple of days of the Cowboys being interested in a veteran wide receiver, whether it be through trade or free agency. And now we're kind of starting to learn what their movement is going to look like if they are to make a move. We went through the scenarios in the previous video and also talking about what the Cowboys did in the movement with the cap space and all that other stuff to be ready to make such a move. But now we need to talk about what the holdup is and realistically what could cause the issue with the Cowboys acquiring certain players. With that being said, let's get into it. Now, before we continue today's video, if you guys could do me a favor and hit the like button, that'd be greatly appreciated. Also, subscribe if you're new and hit that notification bell as well. The average continues to drop every single day. Thank you guys so much for the support. But if you are not subscribed and you're a part of the 80 percentile that is not subscribed, I highly recommend you do so. And hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you get more Dallas Cowboys content in your feed, especially if you keep coming back. It just doesn't make sense not to be subscribed if you keep coming back and you like the content. So, we have talked about it in the past couple of videos about the Dallas Cowboys being interested, what could it look like in a particular trade, but everyone's now getting impatient. What's the holdup? What's taking so long? Well, we've been hearing from reports, and I've said it even before the reports came out, that while the Dallas Cowboys are interested in acquiring some of these players, they don't want to blink first. Bobby Belt put a tweet out basically saying that the Dallas Cowboys are looking for a bargain or a deal similar to the Amari Cooper trade. And I'm going to just be real with you, you're not going to get something like that. So when the Dallas Cowboys traded Amari Cooper for a 2022 fifth-round pick and them swapping sixth with the Cleveland Browns, that really looked more like the exception and not the rule, and that kind of became more clear as the entire market was set afterwards. You saw teams giving up third-round picks and first-round picks, and some people argued that, hey, you could have just waited and then got a third round pick in question. But that's the thing. Once the market gets set, the frenzy begins. And this is where I think that's coming into play here. But we have to go back and look at what the Cowboys are trying to do here. They're trying to get a deal similar to that of the Amari Cooper trade. And I'm going to be real with you. That's going to result in you doing one of two things. Either you're going to go after Odell Beckham Jr. and sign him to a contract that he wants, or you're going to trade for Brandon Cooks. Now, I'm not saying that's a problem. I like Brandon Cooks. I think he would fit well here in Dallas, and he would be a nice addition for what we're lacking. However, you have a guy in DeAndre Hopkins. When he's there and you just had to give up a second-round pick to acquire a guy when he's ready to go, he's arguably a top 10 receiver in this league. You just don't sit there and be like, yeah, nah, we'll be fine. And that's where I get irritated with the Joneses because their ego sometimes steps in the way. But I do understand where they're coming from, but allow me to explain there. A lot of these teams are in the running for the same players as the Cowboys are looking at, Odell Beckham Jr., DeAndre Hopkins, etc. Here's the issue. The issue is that you don't want to be the first team that gives an offer, but at the same time, you can argue that if you give an offer, you can move from there. So here's what I think is going down in Cowboy land. They don't want to call the Cardinals or any other team to make a trade because they want the Cardinals or the other teams to call the Cowboys to start the maneuver. So they're the ones initiating. Then the Cowboys can negotiate from there. They have this weird philosophy where it's like, if we call first, you lose the negotiation. And again, every situation's ambiguous. I always like to say that when it comes to these types of things because just because you don't contact first doesn't mean you're going to win a negotiation. So if the Cowboys are sitting there praying like, okay, maybe the Cardinals will call us and then we'll get a deal done. No, like when you went after Amari Cooper the first time, you didn't just wait for Oakland to call you. No, you called Oakland, hey, what's it going to take to get Amari Cooper a first-round pick? Done. That was it. And so I think you could see a situation like that happen. Now, Bobby Belt saying this, and then we're hearing, well, the Cowboys, or rather DeAndre Hopkins wants to be a Cowboy. I mean, there's no question these players want to be a Cowboy. I think we can get that pretty much settled here. What I think is going to happen is that the Dallas Cowboys are just waiting and waiting because my prediction is they're going to get Brandon Cooks at this point. It seems like with what the Cowboys have been going about it, with what's been said. Also, Brandon Cooks demanded a trade and he was almost sent to the Cowboys. The problem was the money and the contract hit. That has been, said several times, even last year. At the trade deadline, the Cowboys were nearly there to acquire Brandon Cooks, and who knows what that would have resulted in. But I don't want to be shocked if the Cowboys go after Brandon Cooks, and I don't want you guys to see, like, oh, man, like, when you go to Christmas and, you're getting your presents and it's like you feel like you got socks or clothes when you wanted an Xbox, like when you were a kid. I don't think it's going to be like that. I think it's going to be like, okay, you got a game or something like that, but it's not the one you really wanted. That's what I think is probably going to happen with us. And I just think that the lack of urgency is going to possibly bite the Cowboys, but who knows? I could be wrong there. So the Cardinals are looking for a second-round pick and a player. They've let their demands, and it's kind of in the same realm of what the Broncos were looking for, but now teams are not liking what the Broncos are asking for. So, maybe Jerry Jeudy can go on draft night. Who knows? But they're saying now he's not available for trade, whatever the case may be. DeAndre Hopkins could be in a situation where no one trades for him because they're trying to call the Cardinals bluff, and then he gets traded on draft night because they're like, fuck it, let's just get that pick. So you could see the Cowboys do a couple things. They could bite the bullet, give him a second-round pick, bite the bullet, send a third-round pick and a pick that will be conditional in the next year's draft. I mean, that's a possibility there. Or the Cowboys can go after Odell Beckham Jr. and they could be like, okay, we're going to just, before we go after Odell, let's give a call to the Cardinals and then we'll make the decision there. This thing can go 7 ways. It really can. Like this, we could see the Cowboys call for Brandon Cooks and they get him, and then that's the end of the conversation. But you don't know until you try. And that's really big. We didn't know the Cowboys were trading for Stephon Gilmore, and it just happened. Like, this could happen with the wide receiver position. All I have been told, the Cowboys are interested in these players, and it's really the compensation and the dead money and the cap hits that are really holding this thing up. And that's holding up all the other teams. This isn't just the Cowboys. This is what I've been told from the individuals I talked to. It's been reported now. It's out there when I first said it. And I would say to you guys, we need to be patient. And really, the ball is in the court of Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones. They have the cap space. It's not like we don't have the cap space to make a move. They have the ammunition. It's a matter of when they want to fire and go for that player. But from what's been being told and from what I've heard and all this other crap, right now you can go take a look at the trade scenarios because I talk about a handful of them that were names. The Jerry Jeudy one, no. Like that, you're probably going to throw out the window. And I made that like one of the first like scenarios because that was the least likely I think was going to happen. But yeah, I mean, that is where we're at. If you want to go again, you can go to the latest video. You should actually see it on the screen towards the tail end where you could see the watch before. And you'll go through all the scenarios there. But again, we're just waiting on the Cowboys at this point. I think they're going to make a move. We just don't know when it's going to happen and how it's going to happen. So I don't want to get people's hopes up, but don't be shocked if it's not the name you're looking for. And there's still guys out there. Like, this free agency market hasn't really been touched. There really, only 2 guys got signed, Juju and Jacoby Myers. So it's a dry spell right now. No one wants to sign anybody. No one wants to trade for anybody. But if you look at the context clues, the Dallas Cowboys should be in the driver's seat. And no one expected some of these players to be traded when they were traded. I'm not talking about the Cowboys, but just other teams. Like, we could get to draft night and the Cowboys take like a tight end and we're like, what the fuck? Like, why haven't we traded for a receiver? And then we come to find out the Dallas Cowboys have made a trade to get acquire DeAndre Hopkins or whatever. That can happen. Or it can happen with Brandon Cooks. So we need to be patient, guys. And I'm telling you right now, the Dallas Cowboys did not open up that cap space for nothing. If they just... Like, you don't open up $20 million of cap space just to sit on your ass with it. You're going to do something with it. But we're probably going to have, if a source comes out that why didn't the Cowboys make a move, it's going to be like they called, and that's what I'm probably going to hear too. Oh, they called, but the offer was too high. But then you can at least acknowledge, okay, we can cross that off. Let's go to the next guy and get the deal done. So that's where it is, guys. Tell me what you guys think down below. Do you think the Cowboys should just pull the trigger and go from there? Is there other names out there like McCole Hartman and company that you would like the Cowboys to sign? Please tell me down below, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Have a good one, guys. Goodbye.